I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and you're welcome to our 5th Carcassonne session, or Carcassonne and AZUL session. Today I'll be having games with y'all, games with viewers. So anybody who likes to participate can sign up in one of two ways. You can either send me a challenge on Board Game Arena, or preferably you can write in the live stream chat, make your Board Game Arena screen name no, and then I will play a challenge. And then I will send a challenge to y'all. The way this works is I will try to alternate Carcassonne and AZUL games, and also I will try to prioritize those of you who haven't been featured before on those streams. But generally, it's kind of I will addressing each challenge chronologically. Anyway, be aware that I'm streaming with a 1-minute delay. So the first game for a warm-up, I'm actually going to play against a random opponent in Board Game Arena. Try to recover some ELO points. I have had a rough week last week, but it's all gonna come back. All right, so let's see who our opponent is. A player with a bunch of numbers for a screen name of whom I'm not familiar, and also this looks like it's a flag of some crown dependency. Oh no, it's Fiji. Interesting. So they start a new city, which is, it's okay, but like there is one downside with their move. It's actually not really that good because they're helping me to build this road. They really should be orientating, yeah, they should be placing this tile with a slightly different orientation. You know, they try to attack my road indirectly, and actually they're going to succeed. I'm starting a new city in the only reasonable place possible. So far, kind of mostly natural moves. Now here, this is a situation where many players would make a natural move like this, just expanding the city. I much prefer going over here. Yeah, maybe like this, actually. Yes. Let's go like this. Start a new city. And then maybe we can try and block our opponent's attempt to invade our road. Now this situation is very, very interesting. Oh, I'm really not sure what the correct answer is. So my opponent is threatening to complete a 10-point city. The question is, how do we respond? The standard move is to go over here because it would take away a lot of tiles away from our opponent. Like it would take all the splitters, all the extenders, a lot of things that could add points or even complete their city. But there will still be plenty of city caps that would fit over here. All the daggers, all the starting tiles, all the roses are still in the deck. So at least 9 good tiles that fit there. There is definitely some value in delaying the completion of the city, because then maybe I can try and like sneak in from the other side and try to attack that city somewhat. And this is the move that I would play if not for 2 other opportunities. I could start a new road over here for 3 points. I mean, 3 points are definitely worth something. And this move is also looking quite strong, as it just simply prevents my opponent from connecting to my road once and for good. And honestly, I think against a stronger opponent, I would go over here, since this is somebody who's unfamiliar. I mean, I'm going to assume that they're just maybe not particularly high rated, so I'd rather play a lower variance approach. I would take the sure points. And yes, we can see that it leads to our opponents completing a city, unfortunately, but just as well, they might have had a city plus road tile in hand. And so there was a possibility that they would be completing a city anyway. So now we are going to take the empty road. And now I can see that my opponent actually appears to be definitely a decent player. Yeah, they very quickly found their best move, which is to block over here. It's a very annoying block. I think it kind of forces me to go over here. Does it, though? Does it? Does it? Let me think. I could go here, start a new city. Honestly, I'd rather just do this. it might be viewed as a bit of a waste of a city cap. It's just I'm a bit too worried about being blocked there myself. Yeah, there's a lot to be worried about potentially. And, you know, my opponent does give away an empty city cap, which unfortunately I'm not going to be taking advantage of, but it's a good idea on my side, I think, to threaten an 8-point city and force my opponent to react. Unfortunately, they will be successfully invading in all likelihood, but I get the first monastery of the game. Now, let me just think for a second where to place it. There are several good options. Each of the options that I can think of has some downsides. Right? Here, I mean, it's pretty good for 5 points, but then I can see some blocking opportunities. You know what? I'm just going to go for the move that scores the most. It is the one that I think is ultimately the best. Okay, so now my opponent, I think, is playing a bit too cautiously. Rather than completing the connection to my city, they should have picked this empty city cap, I think, because now I will be easily finishing an 8-point city in all likelihood. So, what else are we having? Yeah, my opponent's wisely starting a new city. We see, this is actually a good move. They're starting a new city. They're trying to block me a little bit. It looks quite strong. I think the best move that I can see is to build up my monastery, indirectly protect my city, set up another monastery, and also have a pretty decent chance of completing a 7-point road like this. Yeah, so generally these backdoor options should not be overlooked. Whoops, let's just not lose on time. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so my opponent is building up a new city and creating a threat, to which I think I should not respond. I mean, my monastery is way too wonderful. I just have to build it up. There is, let's say, a minimum risk that we have to assume of my city being blocked. But, you know, it's whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to do something I think quite daring. A natural move is to go over here and finish the city, but you know what? I'm losing 20 points, and even though I'm going to get some of those points back by completing my monasteries, I'm actually going to try and do this. I know it may be not necessarily like the ultimate best move, but it's the most aggressive move because it forces me, but I take advantage of both the road segment and the city segment of the tile. I have my road close to completion, and now I am able to just get a monastery meeple out to bail out of the regrettable situation that I'm having. Well, regrettable I think is too strong of a statement. You see, now I'm down only 11. I have a monastery, I have a strong road, I get a good tile, which I can probably use over here. Using it over here is also an option. Yeah, my opponent's trying to block me, which is not that great. This move looks quite pleasant, but I think I'm going to wait for just a more suitable tile. I think I'm going to wait for a regular curve. Let's just take the quick points. It might be so that we're going to have to endure a block from our opponents. It is what it is. Let's see what kind of tricks the players with the screen name 72 million has up their sleeve. Alright, so they start a 5-point monastery, which makes a lot of sense. And you know what I'm going to do? I think I want to start a 5-point monastery of my own, like a 4-point monastery. I know it looks a bit aggressive, but I feel like I need something good on the scoreboard. Maybe it's a bit too aggressive. I'm not sure about placing my last meeple here. But something tells me I could get away with this. And I will. Even though my opponents restrict my city, yeah, I will be getting a meeple back immediately. It's a question of whether to do it here or here. I think doing here is a little bit better because there are more city plus field tiles than there are city plus road tiles remaining. Okay, so my opponent gets one of the tiles that I need, which is unfortunate for me. It is unfortunate for me, indeed. Well, what now? I could go here and try to break my opponent's cities. And actually, you know what? This appears to be quite powerful because there's so few daggers remaining. I will be threatening a complete block. And I know that this tile could be good for my monasteries, but I'm not in a hurry to get meeples back. I think I get a lot from a decision like this. Now, the disadvantage of course, that happens of that is that my opponent could just have a city plus road tile and we end up wasting a move. I think still it was worth it. Okay, down 9 points. Getting a good tile. Could go here, could go here. I think just continuing my city makes sense the most. My opponent is trying to equalize my road, which I have no problem with. The road wasn't like super valuable to begin with. I think just continuing my city is fine. At the expense of the integrity of my monasteries a little bit, but it's whatever, it's whatever. Something interesting is going to happen right now, I think. I will probably soon be required to make a difficult choice, and there it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So what could I do with this tile? I can think of 3 things. Option 1 is I just finish the city, and then that's it. Option 2. What do we do with option 2? Option 2, we go here and build up the city indirectly, which I think is a bit reckless. And option 3 is the one I'm leaning the most towards. This is building up my monasteries and also indirectly protecting my city. But I think, you know what, I think I'd rather just take the guaranteed points. I'd rather just take the guaranteed points in this instance, and I do get blocked. It's also a very strong find for my opponent that they actually did follow through with the block, but I think I can survive the loss of a meeple here. It's important. Unfortunately, that monasteries get restricted, though. I'm very curious to hear in the chat if you agree with my decision. Maybe it wasn't entirely disciplined, but the choice has been made. Whoops. We need to not lose on time. Going for a 4-point loop, also trying to like do something nasty against my opponent's city. Okay, this move is really, really strong, and they played it so quickly to the point that I'm really interested as to who is this player. Who is this player? Yeah, also I'm down on meeples, and I'm accidentally creating a big field, which is not great, but I am ahead on points. That's a good move again, a good move. Like, they are just dropping farmers left and right. I will have to equalize the farmer at some point, but first of all, I'm going to try and block my opponent unsuccessfully. But you know what? Let's just keep scoring points. It's important to score the points for the road rather than the city, because there's still plenty of cities there available. What else? What else? I have no interest into finishing the shared road. I think I just have to go here, get some meeples back, and also maybe threaten my opponent a little bit. hope that they don't finish that big city or medium-sized city on the right too easily. You know, now that I think about this, there's really only one tile that fits over here. I mean, I could go here and equalize this city, but it seems a bit extra. I don't know. I want to be able to start dropping farmers soon enough. I'm just thinking what would be the best way to do that. The best way to do that, of course, will be to draw something for this square, of which there's not that much remaining. There's actually just 2 tiles that fit here. This is the problem. And drop a farmer here. Or I think I need to think of some contingency plans how I could win without any involvement on the farms. And then this is probably the answer. This is the answer that I can think of. Again, maybe this move is like a little bit overly cautious, but my rationale about this is there's a 50-50 chance of my opponent joining, in which case if they do join, then they threaten and complete in city. But if they don't join, if I get the one and the remaining tile that fit into the square, well then there are plenty of big tiles remaining for me, and I can build like an 8-point ruin very easily on the right. Now this is where it gets interesting. I do get one of the crucial tiles that I need. So I do get to complete one of my monasteries, and there's a decent chance I'll get to complete another monastery. It looks like it could all turn into a substantial field fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could actually go here and try to complete my monastery. Maybe it's better than just settling for measly 2 quick points. I could go for measly 2 quick points, honestly. I think let's try and be disciplined. Yeah. My opponent's probably is going to take the quick points. Oh no, they go and try block me, which is their prerogative, and honestly, I'm going to let them. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to fight too hard for saving my meeple. My main idea, my main strategy in this game is really just to try and score a lot. And they are going to block me successfully, but it costs them points. I still have one meeple that I can use, and if the fields ever unite, if my opponent ever goes here, then I am going to get a meeple back, which I can use for a field fight. So I think I want to go over here, take 2 points, and limit farming options for my opponent. You see, that was important. Yeah, okay, they take a 6-point farm, which is their prerogative. They can do whatever. I think now I have 2 moves. One, I can go over here, which would prevent them from dropping a farmer too easily in this here area, right? I don't want red to go over here. Another alternative that I have is to go over here and block the scoring opportunities in this area. But maybe I can do this with my next move because there's still plenty of road tiles available and not that many city caps. So I think I'd rather do this. Now, red needs to decide if it's actually worth unifying all the fields. Because again, I'm 15 points ahead on the scoreboard. I have an extra monastery. I have even like this extra blocked road and extra blocked city, and it all kind of adds up. I think the only real way how red wins this game is if they create a big field, if they somehow manage it to unify this part which belongs to red and this part which belongs to yellow, and maybe then later add another red farmer, so that they would be touching all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 completed cities for 21 points. And even then, there's a chance how yellow could withstand this. But anyway, my main idea now is just try and avoid any big field fights. Okay, now I can see what they're trying to do, but I think it's a miscount of tiles. It's in theory a clever move. They're trying to get a splitter, and they're trying to like penetrate the field that way, except that it's not going to work because 1, 2, 3 splitters are on the board, and the only tile that fits into the square is actually one which blocks the entry for this farmer anyway. So I think that was just a waste of 3 points on their behalf. So I could use this tile to like block the city that I was talking about, but it gives back some even worse possibilities. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, so far so good. I also get the tile that they needed. Yeah, they just do those inconsequential things. We're gonna let them. Again, I could go here, but I just don't like the idea of meepling more things. Yeah, why? Let's just go here. Let's just continue getting points like this. Okay, so they are now occupying the last ruin, which again makes a lot of sense. Now I can either go here for a 6-point field, or I can even go here and fight for a 12-point field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No straight lines remaining. So I'd rather just block this first, and then later I can go here, drop a farmer, and also come to the realization that actually I didn't really need to block everything. I forgot that the last city cap was already played. Yeah, 5 city caps already on the board. But you know, sometimes you can't be 100% precise with the tile tracking, just because there's not enough time. Anyway, okay, so this was like actually a really decent opponent. I'm gonna say that they played like at a 500 level or something. This wasn't easy for me. They blocked a few of my meeples. They didn't really get that lucky with their tiles, I think. I mean, they did have the city at the start, but I did capitalize on the monastery, so that was pretty good for me. Yeah, so definitely credit goes to my opponent for playing well. Let's see what the point difference is. I think ultimately my completed features were just a little bit too much. Yeah, I think you see this here area, there's just a lot that I managed to score. And then even though I was losing meeples, at the end of the day, you get scored not for meeples, you get scored for points for the things that you occupy with those meeples. Okay, that's good. We got some elo. 560 was the rating, so yeah, I was right. There was actually somebody reasonably strong. Somebody who is either from Fiji, which I would hope is the case, even though isn't it like the middle of the night there? Isn't it 3 a.m. in Fiji? Okay. Or maybe they're just a fan of how the flag looks. Alrighty, so next we probably should switch to AZUL. Let's, I guess, see what we have in arena mode available. Let's actually try both, because I think in arena mode maybe the game could be too uneven. But if I play against an expert in AZUL, in this mode, then there would be a conceivable chance to lose, so that would make things interesting. Again, I generally find that in arena mode, the level tends to be stronger in Carcassonne than AZUL, and in the regular mode, the level happens to be stronger in AZUL than Carcassonne, just because there's so many good players and masters. Mostly there has been an explosion in AZUL skill in the last couple of years. Okay, so I'm playing in regular mode against an expert with the screen name Imai. And I'm already in a not easy position. Actually, you know what? I think I found a good response. How about we do this? They commit themselves to column 4. We will be responding with column 2, so we're going to try to be non-confrontational. We will be taking away the golds from them, which they need for row 3. They will be probably making attempts to complete the row 4, which is whatever. But we're not going to let them do that. And I think we will end this first round with more completed rows than they have. They will have more completed squares. Yeah, and again, I see what they're trying to do. But I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, so exactly what I told you. They have more completed squares. Actually, no, we have the same number of completed squares, and I just have more completed rows. So again, they're building column 4, we're building column 2, and I end up with more stuff. They have the starting player, but I think this position is great for us. I'm quite happy with finding this equalization move, because a bit counterintuitive. By taking the 2 whites for row 3, I was conceding 2 blues with the starting player token, but it just required a bit of further calculation that I could actually threaten the completion of row 3 and even execute that threat. So that went, I think, quite well for me in general. Okay, so they're now trying... well, they're now not trying. They have just now successfully completed their their row 3, sorry. And I think, again, I found actually a pretty good response. Yeah, so they're going to try and build their row 5. And I'm not going to let them build their row 5. I'm going to take away the whites from them. And I'm also going to make some things converge on the board. Yes, I'm going to take the 3 golds. Ooh, like this. Interesting. Okay. All right. So then... this is not going to play out exactly as I planned, but they will be dropping a lot of stuff on the floor. The way I had planned this, I thought I would be completing my row 5, but instead they chose to take the reds. They chose to prioritize blocking my row 5 instead of advancing their own game, which is their prerogative. But again, they do get a lot of minuses here. They have some nice adjacency, but I will catch up on the adjacency later. Like, I have these huge blue setups on row 2 and row 3. I will not be capitalizing on those setups this round, as we can see from the run out. But next round, it is actually quite doable. And actually, you know what? My opponent doesn't really have a good reason to use blues, and so I even might end up with these 2 blues over here. Okay, so now what I need to do, I think this is one of those situations where I actually take the starting player token, and I'm gonna take away the 1 white that my opponent needs for their bottom row. Whoops, let me just change, let me just fix the sound in a second. All right, so we are back. I hope that this sound was okay. Basically, here are my options. I'm thinking of going with the whites either for row 4 or for row 1. And you know what? I'm going to go just for row 1. I think going for row 4 is a little bit too fancy. Yeah, and my opponents, you see, like, takes away the whites anyway. They really just seem to not to care too much about casualties on the floor line. At their peril, I must add. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do a slightly weird move, but I think that it works. First of all, I want to group a lot of golds just to punish them a little bit. Oh, okay, but this is good. This is great. This is great. I think I'm just going to take the blues. And then what are they going to do? If they take away the blacks from me, I'm completely fine, because first of all, they don't have anywhere to put the blacks. Yeah, or that, or that, or that, or that. I'm going to prevent them from scoring. I'm going to prioritize that. And now it's up to them whether they want to drop the reds or the blacks. And I'm completely fine with that. I will have enough reds to finish my row 5 later. I really wanted to take away the 4 golds from them just so that they don't get the 5 points in the row 4. And also they got negative points for dropping the reds. And I think we have quite of an advantage over here. Also, as I told you, we were patient with the blues, and the blues ended up converging, and finally we're being rewarded for our patience. I'm going to make a move really with not too much thinking. They need the blues for row 3. I need the blues in my row 3. I'm going to take the blues away from them, and they are now trying to do something nasty, which is their prerogative. What are we going to do here? Let's try do this. I think this is what we want. Ah. That's what it's going to be. Okay. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. They take this. I'm going to take... I'm going to do this, I guess. And do I drop it on the floor or not? That's the big question, actually. Right, we have our next challenge for Carcassonne as well. This one I'm really not sure about. Maybe, you know what, maybe I was a bit too hasty with filling my row 1. I kind of just wanted to get that task over with. Maybe there's a way how we end up not... You know what? Let's just keep row 4 3. Row 4 free. I know that will get a lot of floor line points in this round, but my opponent has barely advanced their board, and I will be scoring enough to sort of compensate this. So I can see that my opponent is actually trying, possibly quite cleverly, to build the second column. I don't think they have quite enough resources to do that, and not completing, but kind of clogging their... Ooh, that's okay. That's actually quite rough for me. That is very, very rough. But I think I can just win anyway. I think I can just win anyway, right? And at some point, I will be threatening the completion of row 5 anyway. Even if I don't complete my row 5, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Just because I have so many other points elsewhere. As we will see, the decision to leave row 4 empty will have proved justified. Let me just try and explain to you in a second. This is not that obvious. This is not that obvious. Of course, I definitely want to prevent my opponent from scoring too much. How do we do that? It might be this move? It might be this move, actually. Wait, I take the whites, my opponent takes the whites. No. That would be bad. That would be bad. It might be something like... like this instead, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, sure. The problem with that is that I will be discarding, I think, quite a lot, no matter what, but it's whatever. It's whatever. Yeah, they will be also discarding. And I'll just take some points. They're really insisting on making me discard. Well, fine. They will end up actually discarding just as much as I... well... okay, maybe a little bit less, but again, this route, I'm just plainly scoring more. Because these yellows are worth 9 points. And they're going to have a column over me, but I just simply have too much stuff on my board. But yeah, I think they gave it a good fight. They were trying really hard to block my column, and they did succeed. I did lose a lot of points on the floor because my row 5 was blocked. I didn't get the 7 column points. But at the end, their blocking strategy just cost them so much in their own floor line. So let's just have a look at the statistics real quick here. Yeah, 27 points lost with the floor line, whereas I only lost 21 points. And also we just scored more. So that the fact that they scored 7 extra with the complete column, that really wasn't all that valuable. All right, so first of all, okay, I already see Nalaheim is inviting me in Carcassonne, which is great. But first of all, we had... Ale Max 3. From Romania. Alrighty, so we are the starting player. Which is good for us. They get a city cap. They start a city. I think here Oh, actually, this is already an interesting situation. Do I take the 4 points, or do I go here? I think I'd rather go here, because in addition to taking the points from this city, I will also be, you know, creating inconveniences for this guy, and I think this could serve me quite well. But I'm not 100% sure as to what the correct move here is. But typically, if my opponent starts a new city at the top, then normally you want to get rid of this meeple as soon as possible. Now, this here move from Ailmax is a mistake, something that actually I think you can quite easily work on. So it's just much better at the start to point outwards in order not to allow moves like these. Because you see, now I get to start a new city, and I also get to restrict you quite severely. It's not tragic, because there's still 3 tiles that fit into the square, but at the start of the game, you don't really want to subject yourselves to blocks like this, because then later, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, and then even if you successfully recover your meeple, you might have to spend valuable tiles defending it. I can see the concern with the other move, and actually, the more I think about it, the more I think it's not such a big mistake. I think it's more like an imprecision. But if you go over here at the top, I think Red's concern is that yellow can invade at the top like this, and also at the same time deteriorate the quality of this square. Yeah, it's definitely a valid concern. I just think that it's like valid, but you know, not valid enough to actually like do something about this. I would still just live with the consequences, essentially. Anyway, so I continue my city. I start a new road. Ideally, I want to abide by the principle of 2 cities, but the fact that I get this extra road is quite nice. Excellent monastery placement from Red, controlling this city, controlling this road. I probably have to do something annoying like this. I want to get out of this control situation as soon as possible. Unfortunately, this leads to my opponent's monastery square here potentially being better. So my opponent could have himself a monastery pair that is really not that great. So I'm not even sure if my move is correct. I'm sort of just playing that instinctively. Well, let's see what yellow or what red does here. Like, the best move for red that I see is to go over here, start a city next to a monastery in a safe place, whilst also creating an inconvenience for this here square. But will they manage to find it? Ooh, I guess, yeah, this is also an okay move, but actually it's not such a good move, because first of all, it's starting a new city next to a monastery. That's great, it's efficient, but this city is vulnerable from both sides, as opposed to the idea that I was suggesting when the city was vulnerable from one side, and they're kind of killing off a potential to get themselves another monastery. So I think this is what makes it a little bit... This is what makes it a little bit not like that efficient, but definitely a very reasonable move. So what we're gonna do next? Maybe invade that city. Yeah, just try play low variance. I know it's a shielded tile that I'm investing, but my opponent also has a shielded tile over here, and you know, then it's completely equal. That's a good move, but it would have been better with the meeple on it. I will finish my road because the road is a little bit threatened, but red should really place a meeple. They have enough meeples, there are plenty of road ends, and there's no reason to give red the opportunity to take advantage of a road end and take 3 points. So let's see if yellow manages to take advantage of this empty road or not, and with the curve that I have in hand, I think that yes, it will be possible. Good move from red, continuing his monastery, realizing that the city is no longer as valuable because yellow is invading it. But yeah, I will be picking up this empty road and just not allow my opponent to score easily. Again, another interesting decision for me. Red, of course, continues their city, which makes a lot of sense. They're thinking of a meeple placement, which I would advise against. Now, I have a fun move here available. I could meeple a 5-point road. And then if my opponent finishes the city, then sort of my road would be longer. But I think a way, way better move is just to go over here and, believe it or not, drop the first farmer of the game. Because this farmer is already touching one city, there are a couple of green squares, and I'm controlling 2 of my opponent's potential cities. So in case red finishes both of those cities, I'm going to start with a nice 9-point farm with tempo. I think it could turn out quite well for us. And if we successfully manage to block even one of these cities, which would mean shrinkage for the size of the farm, then my farm is already worth 3 points, which is equivalent to the number of points that this meeple is scoring. So all I need to do to outscore this here guy is just to have one more completed city on my field, which is probably going to be this city. Generally, a good position for yellow, a playable position for red, if they can manage to draw some city caps soon enough. Especially city plus road tiles soon enough. Right, that's a good move from red. They can't advance any of their own agenda, so they decide to create inconveniences for my road. And I need to make a decision. Do I go here now, just continuing my road? Or do I go here, expanding my field and creating a real opportunity of trying to create, trying to be a bit of a menace here? I kind of like that idea. I think this is a little bit better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Because I'm giving myself a lot. I'm giving myself a green square. I'm giving myself a monastery spot, which I think favors me slightly more than my opponent, because my opponent already has a monastery spot over here. And I'm also creating, of course, a blocking platform in this here area that is crucial, which is a good move, great move for my opponent defending. They have now plenty of tile that fit into the square. This meeple is now unblockable, so I need to start looking for curves to start meepling compensation roads. But in the meantime, we're just going to make the other move that we were planning, which is to build up the road in this here area. You may also be asking why I wasn't considering to place the road over here in order to create a blocking platform against this here guy, and the answer is we gotta be patient. The way we create a blocking platform against this here guy is by naturally finishing this here city. We don't want to be in a situation where, let's say, my opponent goes here, like we go here, and then my opponent gets something like a triple city tile, which they use to defend this here thing indirectly. Yeah, it's just ain't gonna be particularly good for me. So we get the monastery. We could go here. I kind of don't like the idea of the city being connected to it, so I think we just continue with our plan. We did create this 5-point monastery spot. We're gonna go here. Now we have a bit of more incentive to go over here, because we would also be adding ourselves a monastery point. Max here is getting a starting tile, which they wish they could have put over here, but who could have known? This defense move was still very, very good regardless. Yeah, that's a strong move, but it's a very committal move as well. Oh, I'm so curious to see where this leads us. So they are trying to connect over here. If they do connect over here successfully, then of course I will have a blocking opportunity against this here square. So now I'm thinking, do I go here and try and block? Maybe not. But I feel like blocking something, right? I feel like blocking something. And I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's give that a try. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is bad for us, because my opponent does get the perfect defense tile. I thought that there are too few curves remain, too few straight lines remaining, but apparently 3 was a plenty. Had I turned this tile the other way, I would have had just a better position in every which way. I'm not sure if my move was a mistake. I think it was, honestly, but we gotta move on and play further. Let me try go here. Let me try and start a new city, perhaps. I'm not sure if it's the best move necessarily, but it's a move. I'm just trying to maybe invade my opponent's city, not allow them an easy city completion. Just all of those things. Yeah, I'm not sure if my couple of last moves were particularly good. I'm kind of going through meeples a little bit quickly. My monastery is not perfectly configured for development. I don't know. Something's off here. But also, you know what? No, it's fine. My move was fine. Because I could have just had this orientation of the curve. But then what? Then my opponent would have just had another curve in hand, which they would use to go over here. And then they would still have this completely possible defense. Well, let's see what red plays here. They probably need to find some sort of blocking move, like they could go here, create an inconvenience for my road. They could go here, pre-build a road which goes through their city, or they could go here and create an inconvenience for this here yellow guy. I think one of these 3 moves. Or they could all go here, actually, and try and create a blocking platform for my monastery. Or they could go here and pre-build a road for themselves to meeple upon the completion of the city. And the last move is the one which I probably like the most. This is good. This is strong. This is nice. I think I don't have that many options other than adding this to my own city. I know it's not great. It's not really all that great. But it is a move. Alright, so my opponent successfully completes the monastery. A lot of credit for them for taking the risk, and the risk being justified. I probably have to abandon the whole city idea that I had in mind. I think I need to cover up my own city from one of the sides. Now I'm up only 1 point. It's an equal position. Also, I did this just in time, as my opponent was going to maybe invade me or do something even more harmful. Alrighty. Okay, they're starting a new city, which makes some sense, but I don't think it's the best idea to start a new city in the field that I own, even though they have more meeples. And also, they're creating for me the chance to get a second monastery here. I will try to break their city. And also, I'm going to have myself quite a fortunate pull from the deck. I get the first out of the 3 tiles that fit into the square. I'm not going to put it here, obviously. I'm going to either continue my city, or I might go here and meeple a 5-point insurance road myself. I could consider also a move like this. It all depends on what exactly red is going to play here. Yeah, so far I think red is playing this really, really well, like at the definitely easy at a 500 level. Wow, 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 wow. What a move, what a move, what a move. Okay, this is like... It's good. It's really good. It's very committal, but why not? I mean, there's still 2 tiles that fit into that square. 75% chance of connection, and then not only will they invade my field, they would also score 6 points for this city and 6 points for this road. And there's very little that I can do. I am just going to finish my city. I don't want to be wasting city tiles too much for anything else. Well, let's see if my opponent drops another farmer. Honestly, if they're betting their game on this tile, they probably should just go here and drop a farmer like this, and then invade with multiple meeples at the same time. That's a strong move too. That is like, that's good for them. They're trying to block me. I don't really have a good defense. What can I do? I could go here and drop a farmer, but honestly, I don't really feel like it, actually. I don't feel like doing that. I could go here and start like a fight for a city or something. Why do I not feel like going for a farmer? Maybe that's not too bad. Yeah, let's do that, actually. Let's do the move. Because, you know, the idea is that if they manage... The idea is that if they manage to go here and finish their city and invade, then I will be ready here with a counter invasion. Alright, so they're trying to block me. I think it's not the most successful blocking opportunity. They could be successful, but I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna take the risk of losing multiple meeples. Just because, like, this monastery is pretty good. It scores a lot. And they might go over here and leave only 1 tile that goes into the square. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa! I should have counted the tiles. Oh, wow. That's so good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I literally forgot. I forgot that we could run out of curves, and we ran out of curves. There's nothing that's left to fit into the square. Oh, this was very smart. This was like very perceptive of them. Well, what can we do? I mean, I probably just want to do something like this. I want to now, like, finish a city. Drop a farmer. Yeah, let's keep scoring. Let's keep scoring lots. They are trying to continue their city. We're not going to let them do that. I mean, they still could continue it, but I will, with this move, prevent this city from developing anywhere far. Also, I was quite fortunate into drawing the tile that my opponent needs over here for this square. But yeah, the way I got my second monastery block honestly kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. Alright, so what are we having? Ooh, they're trying to finish their city. And why would they not do that? We don't really have that much choice other than let them. But we could also go here maybe and just take quick points. Going here, though, looks pretty good. It does take away a lot of city caps. There are multiple vanilla city caps remaining. Going here might be even better. I might force them into Sophie's Choice block. You know what? I think ultimately I want to just do something like this. I think the 2 points at this stage are more important than blocking chances. Also, I'm getting incredibly fortunate and getting the third tile that red needed to fit over here. So now I'm quite confident about my chances. Also, ooh, how about that? I could place this tile over here, but should I? Because you know, like, this kind of creates a lot of variance in this game. Yeah, I could do that and try to, complete my city. But I could also not. But if I do that, then it gives my opponent a chance to get admonished and score 9 points here. So maybe we don't do that. Maybe we do something like this instead and try to block them. Or just finish my city here, which also could be quite good. Can we try that approach, see if it just works? I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Okay. Okay, so my opponent is getting the points, getting the meeple back. For me, I have to kiss this meeple goodbye. Kissy kiss kiss. And then I might then try to drag another meeple along with it. So what if I go here and try to get some sort of big tile to get and block that guy? I could try do that. I could try do that. I'll do it. I still own the field for 12 points. The field is more difficult to invade than it seems because we're out of crossroad tiles, which might fit in this square. We're also out of some other tiles. Alrighty, so you know what? We're going to continue with the same approach. We're not going to finish our city. We're not going to score quick points. We're just going to go over here and permanently and definitively block this here meeple, right? I think this is what would make the most sense. Let's go with that. Okay. My opponent's just going to take some quick points, and so will I. Oh, no, they're dropping a farmer. That actually is quite clever. They're figuring out that they're behind. They're trying to fight hard. They are also creating an opportunity for like an 8-point city over here, which I can do nothing about other than trying to outdraw them. I can't really go here because there's still a starting tile remaining, so there's no point in doing a 50-50 block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's still a straight line remaining, so there's no point in doing another 50 block. So the best thing I can think about is just taking a meeple back and trying to get myself more firepower. Monastery tile for red can be used in a variety of ways, can be used for quick points, can be used for farmer. A farmer, I think, would be a little bit overkill because the farm is not that big. Probably quick points is my preferred answer because it feels like red needs more meeples in the future to potentially drop another farmer when it becomes relevant. Or if it becomes relevant. So 2 points is my instinct here. Nalaham is saying, fooled me too. The unthinkable event of running out of common tiles. Yeah, referring to the curves that we ran out of so early. But that was a really great find by Alamax. Okay, so they go for a farmer, which makes sense. They need to go for high variance stuff. I don't really have other options than just developing my city, really. This is the best that I can see. They are going to get their farmer connected, and they might even get their second farmer connected, but very fortunate for me, I get this here tile that allows me to score some quick points. And now my plan is, I think, just to try and withstand the field attack, because I have enough of a buffer on the scoreboard. Like, I have 15 points. I have 6 points for my little incompleted city at the bottom, which only mildly trails behind my opponent's group of incompleted cities, and I still have meeples to play for. So I'm not really planning to fight for any fields. I'd rather just go here, you know, take some quick points, create a secondary field, and then try to meeple that in the end. Let's see what red can do here. Well, first of all, red hasn't invaded the field yet. I mean, the field is currently shared. There are 2 red, 2 yellow meeples on it. The third red meeple is over here. Still multiple tiles available to fit into this square, most notably 2 monasteries. There is also 1 vanilla city cap that fits there. Ideally, I want to drop a farmer here or here at some point, but there are not that many road tiles now that I think of it. But yeah, all I really do is just I wait for a good tile. If I can get just 1 monastery, then I can go here and claim 8 points, because I have the meeples to do that, whereas my opponent doesn't really have meeples to do such things. Okay, this is pretty good for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because actually now I can go here instead and block my opponent's meeple. I mean, of course, their meeple is already pretty much blocked, but now I make sure that no further development is possible. And I think it's worth devoting the resources to that, because there are still tiles that fit into that square. I could have meepled that straight away, but I feel, from what I remember, from what I've calculated, which may very easily be wrong, the remaining tiles that they are actually quite, what was gonna say, the remaining tiles that there are quite valuable, so it's good for me to keep the meeple on. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, so now we can go here, drop a 6-point farmer, either like this or maybe even like this. There isn't really a point in going here, though. I think going here is what we gotta do. Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about nothing. But let's see. I already know what I'm gonna do next. And I think well, I don't know it, but let's just see what my opponent does. All I know is that the 2 remaining tiles in the deck are both monasteries. I think it does not require a lot of calculation. Yeah, they block me. And but I guess that's fine. All I just have to do, I need to protect the field. I go here, I drop a farmer like this. They have a monastery, they go for 8 points, and I have a monastery, I just connect the farmers. They're going to be 3 yellow farmers, 3 red farmers on the farm, both scoring 18 points. The 4th red farmer will not be fully connected. It will be scoring only less than that, only 6. But still should be a convincing win because my extra monastery is in the scoreboard lead. I think I played this in okay, like not great, obviously, because I missed the blocking opportunity that my opponent had against my monasteries. Although honestly, even with that risk, I probably would have placed the monastery there anyway. Yeah, they did some really good moves, some really good farmers, some calculated risks, like very, very well played game from my opponent. Just some, I think, minor tweaks at the start. Maybe building their cities in a bit of a safer way would be a way to improve their game, and like in 3 instances actually, because I think all of these 3 cities that ended up getting blocked, I was suggesting an alternative placement. This tile belonged here. This tile I think would have been better like this. This tile I think would have been better like somewhere on the other part of the board. Still very, very strong performance overall from Alemax here. And definitely very good field vision. And I think like a very, very... and like a good sense for the appropriate amount of risk, because they made kind of reasonable moves at first, but then when they fell far behind, started to attacking the field a lot. And it's pretty much worked. Only at the very end did I manage to sneak in the extra farmer for a plus 21 point win. Right, thanks for the game. Well, ideally the next one will be AZUL, but it is quite common that I would have more challenges in Carcassonne. So let's go ahead and play our fellow YouTuber Nallenheim. Just one of the best players in the world. Just what I needed when I'm out of shape. Okay, and also, of course, they have the starting player, and with a shield that's very, very... I'm making natural moves so far. You know, I tried to restrict their city quite a lot. Ooh, what do I do here? I think just making the normal move of finishing the city and starting a new one is still the way to go. Points are points are points. Ha! Very curious to see what Otto does here. I think taking 3 points is very tempting, because it also plays against my city, but also developing their own city should be very tempting. Regardless of which of these options they choose, I mean, I'm going to block green. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go here. They're taking some points on the scoreboard. There's still 3 tiles that can fit over here. But we'll see. Maybe there's a way to try and play against this meeple sooner. Okay, so what do we do? I have 2 options. I could go here, but then my opponent can defend with any road tile, and I don't like it. Or I could wait and go here, and I think this is what I will end up doing. Turns out that my opponent would not have defended, but, you know, whatevs. I think still just having those defense opportunities is quite annoying for them. Yeah, now we're gonna do this. Okay, and now they won't be able to defend. They will be able to defend indirectly, but this ain't the same thing. Ain't the same thing to be able to defend indirectly. And I have no doubt that this is what's going to happen. They're just thinking about the orientation of the tile. Probably they want to do something like this. I think they even want to meeple this 1-point road to try and build a 4-point road around that. Yeah, I know Otto hates meepling 1-point road, but for this occasion, even he's going to make an exception. Okay, so we're just building our own thing. Otto probably going to finish his city. No, instead he's going to go like this, huh? And he's going to try and block the blocking square, which I can understand. I don't really have an answer to this. Oh, I do! I can do this. This is better than completing my own city. This is way better than completing my own city. Welp. Yeah, Otto's just gonna go here and not shy away from meepling the road. Wow. I could connect here, but I feel like I can do this later. I could go here and create inconveniences for Otto's road. I could go here and further exacerbate the situation with his city. I could go here as well. I feel like this is the annoyingest, maybe? I think it's better to harm one meeple a lot than harm many meeples a little bit. Not many options for Otto here. Probably does not want to meeple the smallest tree. I think if I'm green here, I want to keep my meeples. Yeah, that move makes a lot of sense. Just kind of trying to create an attacking platform against my city. I could go here and limit the square quite a lot. That would be very annoying for Otto, I think. Or I could go here and meeple a road and put pressure on the other guy. I think this is annoying enough, and at least temporarily, it kind of pays off. Otto is building his city on the left. I probably have to do this and play against the Green's road. And finally, Otto's going to get himself a meeple back one way or another. Which way that is going to be, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so Otto gets a meeple back that way. on the left. It does help me build up my city, but it also gives Otto more time to try and connect to it. I think we have to take the 8 points at the bottom. Try to create more vulnerabilities against Otto's city. And now the starting tile will be probably used to extract his topmost meeple. At least this is what I would expect. This is what I would do. He might find something more creative. I get a good tile. So now we know that green is not going to go here anytime soon. If ever, I could go here, try and prepare the completion of the city with 2 Doritos. That could be good. I could go here, try and block green city as well. That could also be quite decent. I could even go here and try to further block green city unless green completes it right now, which is what I expect him to do. But let's see. Whoa. This is interesting to say the least. I get it. I think I'm just going to go here. I'm going to start a 5-point road. And I'm going to prevent Otto from completing the city too easily. That's really is my plan. I'm also going to go here and meeple the empty city cap. Or maybe I go here instead. Let me think about this. Nah, I think going here is just a little bit better. Neither is perfect, but I really, really want to have some particular opportunities there. I get the last rows, which is great. And this shows that sometimes these partial blocks are not just delays. You know, 25% of the time it works, and 25% of the time is the time today. So that is nice. But Otto also gets something that I want. The triple city tiles with which I could connect my 1-point meeple to Otto's 4-point meeple are running out. I think it's a small price to pay for me. It's overall quite a favorable position here for yellow. In many ways, I mean, I have 1 extra point on the scoreboard, I have 1 extra meeple, I have completion threats for 2 cities in a road, or at least imminently for a city in a road. Otto has a vulnerable city on the left. Well, now my city is way, way more vulnerable. But I will be just keeping my blocking pressure, blocking onslaught. Trying to create all kinds of inconveniences for green. There's still plenty of tiles to get that meeple back, but way, way fewer now. Green is going to try and block the entrance to the city. It's whatever at this point. I think the best thing I can do is just to get my 8 points meeple back. It will result potentially in my city being blocked, but not right now. In my road being blocked, but not right now. Otto does successfully finish the road. I get a valuable tile, which I will not use to complete my city because it's way, way more important to block Otto's city at the bottom. That's a good move for, and a good tile as well for green. Trying to get his meeple out of danger, which was also potentially in danger. I'm gonna go here, get a point, and also protect my road a little bit. Turns out that my road really didn't need all that much protection. My city meeple is the one that needs protection. I am just, of course, going to get myself a meeple back. score some extra. And it's maybe not the most aggressive move. Maybe I could have done something else. But I feel that now that I've drawn the third out of the 4 crossroads, then my meeple actually becomes kind of vulnerable a little bit. All right, so Otto finishes a road and does not choose to meeple a field yet. I think it is a respectable choice, but I kind of feel that I want to be meepling this field myself. There may be issues with trying to develop that field. Yeah, there may be issues with trying to develop that field, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm just better off scoring and keeping the position as closed as I can. Unfortunately, this means that I will be allowing Otto to complete a permanent block on my city, but honestly, it's whatever. It's whatever. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. And I get a monastery, which I will be using as a road tile. The only question is, do we score 3 points here, or do we score 3 points here? That way we create quite a big field, which maybe is going to slightly favor... I'm not sure who at this point. You know what? Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's just create the field here. There are some reasons for this. Otto is probably going to start a new city on the right, or maybe just continue the ruin a little bit. I'm going to finish my own city. And anyway, the main idea that I had is I want there to be multiple small fields. Yeah, we can see what Otto's doing. I am finally going to get my meeple back over here. And now that we have 25 tiles remaining, I think I want to actually start meepling those little fields. Otto is going to be first. The move that I expect from him is a move at the bottom of the map. Maybe here, meepling the fields. That is a strong move that you might think. I will probably have to meeple a counter field somewhere at the top. And then maybe hope to turn it into a 9-point field a little bit later. I am ahead 14 points. This is something that matters quite a lot. I am a bit worried about Otto being able to construct a big field with the remaining city caps. Instead, he goes for road, which is respectable, but it's not the move I expected. And maybe I could go here and now try to block that road, and this road looks very blockable, very blockable. I might even meeple the city myself. Which looks like a bit much. You know what? I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to meeple the field. And I'm going to see what Otto has to say about it. There are currently only 2 tiles available that fit into that square. One triangle tile and another one as well. I kind of want to move here, actually. I think it's a bit of an overkill. I could go here and start a new field like this. Or, you know what, I'd just rather take the quick points. Yep, 3 points over here. There is no risk of my opponent ever finishing this here city, so it's fine. What Otto can do is many, many things. So first of all, this is a legit move, just going over here and dropping a farmer, trying to connect to the field and set up the completion of an 8-point city. I think this is what I would do if I'm 16 points behind. Another opportunity is to go here and drop a farmer for 6 points, trying to connect over here later. in which case I would probably go here and equalize immediately. What else do we need to worry about? 3 monasteries still in the deck. Yeah, definitely plenty of comeback chances for green. Green has also built up their city significantly. Yeah, that move. Of course it's that move. So what do? I think we try and go here, and we try and block our opponents. That's the best that they can... Oh, wow! Wow! Otto is just going all in for that particular tile, which I understand. I understand that's what they have to do. I'm going to just play on a different part of the board. I'm going to start... well, I said I'm going to start here, and then, yeah, I'm just going to win the coin flip way too early. And with that, I think I won't have any particular difficulties. Now, the question is, do we actually go here? I think not, because we're gaining 8 points, but we're losing so many points, so many more points with that. Just want to double check that it's the last tile of its kind, and yes, it is. So maybe just dropping it in our field is the way to go. But at this point, this already should be quite academic. Let's go with that. Otto can still take over the field, mind you, but the field is going to be nowhere near as valuable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is a road end tile available. I have 3 meeples. There are 2 road end tiles available. I'm going here. I'm doing it. Well, while 1 road end tile goes to my opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're gonna go here. Whoops, for a 6-point monastery. Otto's going to continue. I'm going to get some quick points over here. I get even more, and just getting a lot of city caps here, really. Yeah, let's just keep getting the quick points. Otto did succeed in the field takeover, which is very good for him. I'm not going to get my road meeple back, which is not very good for me. But the scoreboard lead will keep me happy for now. Two quick points for Otto. Probably the best I can do is to just drop a 6-point farmer over here. At least this is the best that I can see. I don't see all that much value in keeping the meeple, given that there are no quick point tiles available. I have an open city on the left, I have an open road on the right. I can develop them with pretty much any tile. 2 points for Otto for the city. I'm going to get some extra for my city on the left. straight line for green. Probably wants to attack my field from the left, which is what they should do. They should be hoping for the monastery, which I have in hand, but they, of course, don't know that. That's the correct move. Yeah, here's the farmer. I'm just gonna get 1 point, and Otto was guaranteed a connection anyway, so there wasn't any point in trying to block it. So I will end up actually losing the field by a little bit. So what we're having an equal field at the bottom over here for 9 points for both. We're going to have a little field for me for 6, but Otto has a larger field over here for 9 points and 3 completed cities. Overall, 2 very strong farmers. I think he just needed this extra tile to capitalize on it and have some chances. But overall, the game was already pretty difficult when like all these little meeples of green were blocked. Not that big difference of a point difference eventually. Well, actually, no, it's pretty big. It's 25 points. Puts me above 650, so that's a bit of something. I wonder what either of us could have done differently. I can't really see all that much. Personally, was quite fortunate with how this move turns out. I think this extra meeple absence for green was felt. Surprisingly, barely any monasteries were meepled in the game. I mean, Otto got a couple, but couldn't really do much with them. And then I got 1, and just because I had so many meeples, I got over here. And then, of course, this monastery was just used as a road tile. Yeah, just a closed position grinds, a couple of 8-point cities with shields, and that's what made the difference. Anyway, thanks, Nalaheim, for playing. I'm gonna check the chat real quick, and I think now I'd prefer probably an AZUL game. Let's see who we have here. Let's just take this player, I guess. Even though it's a fast format, they're quite strong, so it could be quite interesting. And yeah, and then I think 1 AZUL game should be enough for today. What do we do here? There are lots of whites. Where exactly do they belong? I think those belong here. Well. It's actually not that easy. Like, I could also put them here, because my opponent has just so many. Because basically there's, you know, like reds and blacks and blues over here for very conveniently. But I feel that my opponents could actually take advantage of that better than I have. So I just want to go here, yep, and do this, and let them threaten the completion of row 3, and they're probably going to succeed there. But I'm going to try and do this. Now I'm going to try and do... maybe that, actually, yeah. Yeah, there we go. I think that's going to be quite good. They have to take the reds, I have to take the golds, and then I have kind of a neatly arranged column. They have more completed things. I have slightly more completed squares somehow. I think my position is playable. I'm not sure if my moves were best, but we'll be fine. Okay, now my next idea is to go here. I want to take away the blues for him. I think it's way too essential. I think the blues are just so good for him. And some of y'all might prioritize getting the whites to finish row 4. But actually, I don't think row 4 is all that important. I think it is more important to get things like... to get things like this correctly. I have plenty of adjacency bonuses. My opponents could make me discard things, but only the discard things themselves. Yeah, that's fine by me. You know what? How about we do this? And we can force some uncomfortable situations for our opponents. We can force them to discard the whites. I mean, ideally I want to place the whites there myself. But, I mean, if they're going to be voluntarily discarding the whites, I mean, come on. What are you doing, my friend? I think they should not have done that. Let's see here. Do I sacrifice 4 points to prevent them from scoring 1? I don't think so, actually. I just want to calculate real quick how many points they're going to have after this round. And the answer is only 6 because they're so disconnected. So there's no value in making them to discard this 1 extra blue. Yeah, let them have the extra points. We are going to disrupt the perfect order of completing our column a little bit, but that's fine because our opponent has 0 points. And they do have a very good draw for them with all the colors that they need and really no colors that I need. But I think now I'm going to keep doing the thing that they wanted. I think I want to keep away taking blues from them. They will succeed in taking blacks for row 3 perhaps. But if I can delay their blues for as long as possible, I think we're going to be doing just great. Also, I'm going to be having the starting player token, so that is nice. Let's do this. Not sure it is best, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, and now we're just going to make them discard a completely ridiculous number of tiles, right? It's difficult for them to complete the row 2. The only way for them to do that is to take the 4 blacks, which honestly are at this point better belong in row 3 anyway. If they do that, they will also need to discard something on row. Well, on other rows. Well, I'm not even gonna give them the blacks. And I'm not going to have a perfect first row, but they just going to be discarding so much. And I think the outcome of this game has already been decided, so I'm not going to be commenting all that much. Yeah, again, 0 points for our opponents. We don't get that many whites again, but we'll just take what we can. We'll just take this, and we're going to try and set up the two whites for taking. There's going to be a lot of whites at the last round. Like, they're not going to be delayed there forever. Oh, I see. Okay, let's try and just threaten our opponent a little bit. Yeah, of course, they're trying to do this. We are now going to do that. Yeah, and that's actually quite smart from them. Well, we'll take what we can. They finally fill all their blues, and yeah, let's just do this. They do catch up quite a lot. Well, I can just straight up deny them their column. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for that. And this, of course, leaves them just no chance to do anything meaningful. I will be completing my column first, and then I will be completing the game with either 1 white or 2 whites. It doesn't really matter. They can make me discard something, but not too much, because my last row is relatively flexible. The only thing that doesn't fit there is the blacks, and I will have to discard the 2 blacks probably, but it's whatever. Yep, here are my whites. I am forced to use them, because if I don't use them, my opponents can force the game into the 6th round, which we don't want, because that could give them genuine chances for winning. Now I think I actually have to discard the 3 reds and not the 2 blacks, because my opponents could have used the 3 reds in row 4. We're not going to let them do that. Mathematically, it works out for 1 point better than the alternative, if I got this correctly. So +4 for me, but I do have a completed row and completed column, so ultimately +13. So thanks to my expert opponent, I think well, I did have a reasonably favorable run out at the start, but they did a good job of equalizing the first round, but then later something went wrong. I think because I was the starting player, I managed to prioritize quite well and take away the blues for them, so that was nice. What else? Oh yeah, lots of floor line points, really lots of floor line points for us. Of course, 25 for our opponent. That also made some of the difference. But then I think ultimately the fact that we managed to complete our column and our opponent didn't also helps. Anyway, thanks to our opponent. All right, we have 2 challenges. One from Devaka in AZUL and one from, I don't know who in AZUL, so maybe that's just a mistake. So let's see how this one goes. All right, well, this one is going to go pretty well for us. Hi, Devaka, and good luck. You're going to need this because my starting run out is just absolutely massive. How exactly do we take advantage of that? Oh, we take those. Do we take those for row 3 or for row 4? I think we actually take those for row 4. I think that's what we do. Because we'll leave row 3 empty for all kinds of other threats. Yeah, my opponent is trying to steal row 4 from me, and I think I'm going to just allow them. Right? Am I going to allow that? I think I'm going to allow that. I'm going to do this. I know I'm playing this like a little bit weirdly, but I feel it could work quite well. The point is that if Devaka spends too much effort on doing things like that, then I wonder if they can end up themselves not having... They can end up having issues with their row 2. Because then, bam, I have this move. And then what they do, right? They kind of have to use something for their row 2. Otherwise, I think their position is a little bit too difficult. And yeah, they have to do something like this, probably, as annoying as it is. But you could also just fill the row 5 instead. But then I'm going to have some quite good advancements. I'm going to have some good advancements on all my other rows in the middle column. And I'm not sure if getting the 5 reds for row 5 will be that advantageous for my opponent as it seems. Anyway, already very interesting opening. And what a run out! What a run out! It's pretty good for me. I think we have to take the Gifts of Fate. And we take the one... we do take the one white. Our opponent can group a lot of blacks together, but I'm fine with that. I'm not even planning to finish any of the... Oh, they can do that! Of course! Welp, then we're gonna do this. And then we're gonna do this. And then what? And then probably something like that. I'm not sure how I feel about... Wait, how do I feel about giving them the 2 blacks? Or how do I feel about giving them the 4 blues? That's the question. Giving them the 4 blues honestly isn't that great. But if but then if I take away the blacks myself, that could work quite well. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let's minimize the number of floor points for ourselves. Yeah, this might be questionable. This might be very, very questionable. But they do get a lot of floor points. And I already fulfill my requirements with the blacks. everything on my board will be completely free. And their extra red is not that threatening right now in particular. There are a lot of things that I had to think about, but the reason why I wanted to take reds away is that I didn't want Devaka to threaten complete color down the line, which actually is still somehow technically possible, but you know, well, we'll see where this leads us. Now what I'm gonna do, I think I just want to keep being the starting player. I'm not gonna even think about this too hard. If Devaka takes one white, I take one more white to just disrupt their rows a little bit. I am going to start taking away reds, I think. Like that. And then I'm going to try and create an opportunity for myself on row 3 with the 3 gold. Oh, like that. This is actually pretty smart. Oh, but I think I have a solution to this. I take the whites and I discard it. And I don't think my opponent has a particularly good move here, because if they take away the 3 yellows from me, then I just take 1 black. If they take away the yellows and put them in row 1 instead of row 3, then I take away the reds from my row 5, and suddenly I'm threatening another column, or maybe even something worse. If they take away the 1 black, then I take away the 3, then I take away, of course, the 3 gold. They do get their reds, but it will come at a cost of discarding things. And also now my reds and blues kind of align quite neatly. I'm also not particularly contested on blues. I need only 4 more to get quite a lot of adjacency points. I think Devaka was gunning for complete color, but now it's not really possible after some reds have been discarded. Yeah, so now I think our strategy is just not to do anything too royally stupid. Do we take the blues now, or do we do this later? I think we can do it later. I think the whites are a bit more important. Also, I know I can threaten another column and stuff. I don't think it's that important to engage in such shenanigans. I mean, I will do this, of course. That sounds amazing. Yeah, if I can block the row 3, I mean, that could be very, very annoying for them. They will finish 1 column, but not both. There just isn't. Yeah, that's a good move, actually. That can be a pretty good move. Is that a good move for me? I genuinely don't know. But let's try it. Doesn't really hurt to get 6 points, clean up a row. And then no matter what Devaka does, I will have a way to force the last move. Like that, huh? All right, let's go here. Really? So you don't even want to complete your row 2, which is fine with me. I will just... Actually, I think discarding is safer, yeah. Interesting that Divaca has more progress on row 5 than on any other row except row 1. But I get it, I get it. It was already a very unorthodox start. This run out is pretty good for us, ain't gonna lie. I mean, we already had 21 points, but we have 2 pairs of blues on 2 different plates, with which we can finish the game and row 2. And we have plenty of opportunities to use whites for row 3 and row 1. Row 1, of course, being the priority. Okay, that is pretty smart. I will, of course, finish the game. Oh, like that. I don't necessarily have to finish my row 2, I think. So I'm gonna let Divaca do it. As long as I get to take... Yeah, I think now my opponent sees the problem. There are going to be plenty of discards just because that clogged row 3. But this seems to be the only option from what I understand. And actually... Now I think I can just do this and threaten some more points. And this will force additional discards from my opponent in the form of 3 golds. Yeah, very rough game here for the Ukrainian Carcassonne master. I got quite an advantageous start in round 1. It was quite an advantageous run out. And also I'm quite happy with my decision to place the 3 whites at the start, not in row 3, but in row 4, just because of the threats that they... just because of the long-term threats that were created as a result of that. Anyway, thanks for the game. And I think that should be it, right? Well, we had 3 Carcassonnes, 3 AZULs, or something like that, something along those lines. 6 games should be enough. For the next stream, it should be sometimes early next week. It's going to be a viewers games analysis stream, Carcassonne only, that's going to be at the start of next week. So in case you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that so that you can follow. And of course, do meeple the like button if you liked anything about today. And the next Carcassonne games against viewers stream is probably going to be in about 10 days or something like that. But I will announce that shortly. Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.